Hi, I'm Steve Worrell from Georgia Estate Plan. We're an estate planning and probate law firm serving Cobb County, Georgia, and all of the surrounding areas. One question I get a lot is, how can I prevent my spendthrift child from burning through his inheritance? Some of my clients tell me, Steve, I'm just worried that our adult child just can't handle money. He or she has, a history of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, reckless spending, or lack of common sense. So they're just not comfortable leaving their child's inheritance to him or her outright. The solution here is a trust. With a trust, you can place safeguards on your child's inheritance to reduce the chance that he or she will use it self-destructively. You choose the trustee. You decide when and for what purpose the trustee can distribute funds to your child. You decide when the trust terminates and your child receives the rest of the inheritance outright. Choosing the trustee. A competent trustee is crucial. Many people choose a trusted relative or a friend, but it's wise to consider choosing someone with at least some investment experience or the good judgment to choose a good investment advisor. To avoid a conflict of interest, your selected trustee should not benefit from the trust. You want a person who is likely to survive for the term of the trust. However, you should also name a successor trustee in case your original choice dies or resigns. You'll want to consider the relationship between the beneficiary and your chosen trustee. Will the beneficiary be able to manipulate the trustee and wear him down with constant requests for money? A corporate trustee, like a bank or trust company, will have investment expertise and will be more resistant to that kind of manipulation. But usually your trust must have a significant amount of assets before a corporate trustee will take on the job. Choosing a distribution scheme. You have a lot of options here, from leaving all distribution decisions up to your trustee to providing him or her with very specific directions. Here are 7 possibilities. 1. You give the trustee complete discretion to decide when and how much to distribute from the trust. This plan gives the trustee flexibility to deal with changing circumstances, but it makes the trustee vulnerable to pressure from the beneficiary. It also protects trust assets from the beneficiary's creditors. 2. You give the trustee discretion to distribute income and principal according to an ascertainable standard. One often used standard instructs the trustee to distribute funds when needed for the beneficiary's health, education, maintenance, and support. 3. You require the trustee to distribute all or a percentage of the trust's income or value to the beneficiary periodically, for example, either monthly or quarterly. 4. You require the trustee to distribute a fixed amount periodically until all of the trust assets are exhausted. 5. You require the trustee to make distributions when the beneficiary achieves certain specified incentives or milestones, such as remaining drug-free or employed for a specific period of time. 6. You allow the trustee to make distributions for specific purposes, such as the purchase of a house. 7. You instruct your trustee to pay third parties directly on your child's behalf, for example, tuition to a college. This option also protects the distributions from your child's creditors. Deciding when the trust terminates. You can terminate the trust when the beneficiary reaches a specific age, for example, 30, 40, 50. He or she receives any assets remaining in the trust outright at that time. You could also terminate the trust in stages, for example, 1/3 when the beneficiary turns 30, 1/3 when he turns 40, and the balance when he or she turns 50. Or you can let the trust last for the beneficiary's entire lifetime and name another beneficiary to receive the remaining assets when the trust ends. Adding a spendthrift clause. A spendthrift clause in a trust does 2 things. First, it prevents the beneficiary from assigning his or her interest in the trust to someone else or borrowing against the interest. The beneficiary cannot spend any trust funds before they're distributed to him or her. Second, with some exceptions, a spendthrift clause prevents the beneficiary's creditors from reaching the assets in the trust. However, once the funds are distributed to the beneficiary from the trust and they're in his or her possession, then they're available to the beneficiary's creditors just like any other assets owned by that beneficiary. In sum, a trust is an effective tool for reining in your spendthrift child's worst impulses. It can assure that the inheritance that you've worked so hard to provide will last for years or even a lifetime and is available for your child's essential needs. If you have questions or need assistance, please contact us at 770-425-6060. I'm Steve Worrell.